Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you are brand new here, welcome. My name is Emily. I make videos about books and about beauty, and I would love to have you, so please hit the subscribe button. Alright, so today we are going to be doing my August reading wrap-up. So I'm going to be sharing about the 4 books that I finished in August, what I thought about them, and if I think you should read them.
Honey? Honey?
So the first book that I finished in August, I actually read most of in July, and it was a reread. So that would be The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke. I think I have finally learned how to pronounce her last name. So she's one of my favorite authors from when I was in like 5th grade, and this is one of my favorite books ever, and I think that this is a must-read for anybody. This is technically a like adventure fantasy, but almost with some elements of magical realism. It's amazing, and if you want to feel like a kid again, this is the book for you. So this book follows 2 brothers, Prosper and Beau, who their parents have died, and they were going to be Beau, the younger brother, was going to be sent to live with their mean aunt and uncle, and Prosper was going to be shipped off to boarding school. But the brothers wanted to stay together, and so they decided to run away, and they ran away to Venice, where their mom had told them stories about for their whole lives, and they wanted to go live in this magical city. And while they were there, they met some other kids who were orphans or had run away from home and were living on the streets, and they lived in an abandoned movie theater called the Stella, which they nicknamed the Star Palace, and it's just kind of this magical feeling of living on your own as a kid and having to steal to survive and all that kind of stuff that you read about as a kid, and you think like, you know, I like my bedroom and I like my parents, but I also kind of wish I could go live in an abandoned movie theater in Venice. So, and there are twists and turns, and there's a wacky detective and a magical carousel, and this book is just fabulous, and it really stood up to rereading as an adult, and I gave this book 5 stars. So the next book that I finished in August, I read on my Kindle, but I'll put a picture of the cover here, and this one I actually got as an ARC, an advanced reader's copy, which was really exciting. And this book is called Spore, and it is by David Kristoff, and this book was a science fiction novel, and I accepted the ARC thinking on the condition of writing a review, and I thought, I'm probably gonna like this book a bit. This seems like it's interesting, but it absolutely blew me away. I didn't think I would love it as much as I did. I ended up giving it 5 stars. So Spore follows a father, an army vet named John Harmon, who is down on his luck in a bunch of different ways. He ends up getting fired for his job for a misunderstanding. He's had sleep difficulties ever since he has come back from Iraq, and he just feels very hopeless. His daughter has cancer. He feels like he's not providing for his family, and he decides to accept a position in an experimental sleep study to hopefully get answers on his sleep and help fix that problem, but also the sleep study pays suspiciously well, and so he knows that will help fund his daughter's hospital bills and help his family out until he can find another job. So, all sounds good, but of course, that sleep study does not go as planned at all, and I can't really give any more details beyond that because that's about the whole first half of the book, and things start to go wrong in about the second half. So I loved this book, like I said, and part of why I loved it was just the atmosphere that the author created. The whole first half of the book I was feeling kind of like just dread, like I knew something bad was going to be happening in the story. I didn't know what. I couldn't figure it out. I just knew something was gonna go wrong, and I could feel it, and I was stressed about it, and I haven't like felt that connected to a book, I feel like, in a while. And when things went bad, they went bad. So I thought it was an incredible book. I thought John was a really realistic character. His motivations were, you know, understandable, even when things got, you know, not realistic in the plot because of, you know, science fiction. But I thought the characters were great. I thought it was action-packed, and I would really love to see a movie adaptation. I know this is like a smaller, lesser-known book, but man, one day if this turned into a movie, I would definitely be all over seeing that. Okay, so the next book that I finished in August, I ended up giving 4 stars to, and this is another middle grade book, and I actually read this one for work. So if you didn't know, I'm a 4th grade teacher, and this year we are teaching virtually, at least for the first quarter of the year, and we decided we're sending home supply bags with all of our kids that have like some of the important things that they will need, like their reader's notebook and a pencil sharpener and crayons and stuff like that for kids who don't have those supplies at home. And we decided to get them all a copy of How to Steal a Dog by Barbara O'Connor. So this book was actually published back in 2007, but I had never heard of it. But it was like $1.50 from Scholastic, so it was affordable to send out, and one of my teammates had read it with her students before and they really liked it. So we are doing this novel as a whole 4th grade novel, so I needed to read it before the kids do so that I know what I'm teaching. So this book follows a girl named Georgina, and she is I actually don't know what grade she's in, but I imagine 4th grade or so. So a young girl named Georgina, and she is living in a car with her mom and her younger brother, and she is understandably tired of that. She wants to be in a normal house. She wants to be able to take a shower, wash her hair somewhere other than a gas station sink, and she is embarrassed. She doesn't want her friends to find out that she's living in a car. So when she sees some reward for a lost dog posters, she hatches the brilliant plan that she is going to steal a dog, wait for the owner to put up reward posters, and then return the dog, collect the reward, and help her mom put down the down payment to rent a new apartment. So, of course, that plan does not go exactly as she expects. But this was it was a nice story. I wouldn't necessarily say this is a must read for adults. Like, I feel like The Thief Lord, even if you're an adult, I think you would love that middle grade novel. This one, not a must read, but if you have kids who are in elementary school, I think that this is a great book, and I think if you have never gone through an experience like homelessness, then this could start an interesting conversation. If you have experienced that, then I think it might be a really great way to feel represented and seen through your own struggles in a book. So I'm excited to read this with my students, and I think that they will really enjoy it. Alright, so the 4th and last book that I finished in August is a bit different genre-wise from what I usually read. So normally I'm big on thrillers, sci-fi, middle grade, but this book is more of like a nonfiction self-help type of book, and that is called The Body Is Not an Apology: The Power of Radical Self-Love by Sonia Renee Taylor. So I picked up this book because a workout group that I am in called the Sculpt You, they have a book club, and I ended up not even participating in like the book club calls, but the book sounded really interesting to me, so I wanted to pick it up and read it. And again, this was another 5-star book this month. This was really, really interesting and thought-provoking, and I don't know if it would be for everybody, but I really enjoyed it, and it gave me a lot to think about. So in this book, the author talks about how oppression is enacted on our bodies in different ways. So if you think about it, right, so you normally think about oppression being like, because of your race or your gender, but everybody lives in a body, and so the oppression is enacted on bodies. So a lot of, racism, sexism, fat phobia, all of those things are linked to the way that your body looks and is perceived by others, and the way that different bodies are marginalized or prioritized in our society. So there was a lot to think about in terms of like social structure and oppression and privilege and all of that in this book, but there was also a lot of thoughts about how to kind of rethink your relationship with your own body, because a lot of us have been taught that certain things are wrong, certain things are desirable, but we all only have the body that we have, and so it's important to not just acknowledge and accept that, but this book kind of made the case for how to really love your own body, and how learning to love your own body will help you learn to love other people's bodies, and therefore help improve the general state of things in the world for everybody. So I really had a lot to think about in this book, and honestly, I am thinking about emailing one of my gender, sexuality, women's studies professors from college and recommending this, because I think that it could be really interesting to read in a class. So I took a leap outside my comfort zone a little bit in terms of genre, but not necessarily in terms of subject matter, but I ended up really loving this book, and I actually went into this one with a pen and underlined, highlighted, made some notes in the margins, and I haven't really annotated a book in a long time, so it felt good. So those are the 4 books that I finished in August. I also picked up, put down, started a few other books, but some of those I'm still in the process of, so you will see them in my September wrap-up. Others, I just decided it's not the right time, so you might see them in a future month, or you might not. So yes, those are the books that I read in August. I would love to have a conversation in the comments down below. So if you could leave a comment about any book that you read in August, or if you've read any of these books, what you thought, and I would love to hear some more recommendations for some books I need to pick up in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications before you leave. I make videos about books every Tuesday and about beauty every Saturday. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so happy to have you here.